Hi guys, today's review is going to be a bit different. I'm used to you reviewing Transformer toys, but today I saw a toy that I really loved as a kid. I bought it without question and I want to do a review on it for you guys because I'm pretty sure a lot of you, for those of you that are from my generation, would probably recognize this toy, and you guys would probably love it as much as I do. So today I actually have the review for the limited black edition Legacy Megazord from the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers line. So this is a Toys R Us exclusive figure. It's not a Transformers figure, it's a Power Rangers figure. So it's basically 5 Zords located on the bottom and they combine to form a big robot. So I used to love this toy. This is not the normal color scheme. This is a special black and gold edition color scheme. I just got it recently at Toys R Us. It's actually it's a very nice toy from what I've heard. So this is basically the box. It's so large that I can't even fit it in my camera, so I have to swivel it back and forth. But this is basically the front of the box. You have the Toys R Us exclusive sign there. You have the Power Rangers logo. Legacy Megazord, you have the title, you have a picture of the toy, you have a picture of 5 of the Zords, and then it's for ages 15 plus, which is pretty interesting. On the side, you have the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers picture, a little bio on the Megazord, and at the back, you see the 5 Zords. You see a picture of the robot mode, the tank mode, and basically you can also find the Dragon Zord, Titanus, and then they can combine to form the Ultra Zord. And you can also just get the Dragon Zord, and these two can combine to form like a Superpower Megazord or something like that. And then last but not least, some Megazord stats right here. And another kind of bio kind of thing on the side. And then I guess on top of the box, for those of you interested, you have the Megazord's picture and the Power Rangers picture. And obviously the logos. And that's pretty much it for the box. So to me, very nice box. And I used to love this toy a lot when I was a kid. That's why I just got it without question. So without further ado, let's get this guy open and see how good of a figure he is. Alright guys, so I have the Legacy Megazord opened. When you actually open it from the packaging, it doesn't look like this. It doesn't have the 5 Zords by themselves. It's actually in the Megazord mode already. But I kind of want to start off going through each of the Zords by itself, and then I'll show you how to combine them and how to form the Megazord and the tank mode separately. So I thought it would be nice to start off with the Zords by themselves individually. So before we get into the Zords, when you open the packaging, it does come with a very nice chrome metal gold colored sword that the Megazord will hold. It's a really nice sword. You have some kind of detailing, like an aura detailing at the bottom as well, and some detailing on the grip, which is pretty nice. Other than that, you get 2 of these blasters that you use for the tank mode. On the instructions, actually, it shows you to attach these 2. So there's kind of like a space here. As you can see, you can actually take Pterodactyl and peg it in the tail portion. Oops, it popped off, but you can kind of wedge it in here and wedge the other side here. And then you can kind of put it like that, and then Pterodactyl kind of have 2 blasters on it, but I just like to keep them off. I like keeping Pterodactyl this way, like she is in the show. So I just like to keep them on the side, and in Megazord mode you can actually store these. I'll show you guys how to when we do the combination. And obviously it does come with the instructions, and the instruction is extremely simple. It's only a 2-pager, and it's extremely easy to follow. It's very easy, and surprisingly the combination and the mechanics of the toy, it's very similar to the original toy, the one that was basically produced like 20 or 15-20 years ago. It's extremely similar. So without further ado, let's get into Zords by itself. Let's start with Red Ranger's Tyrannosaurus. So Tyrannosaurus, it's a pretty nice sword. It has all of the Zords, obviously, since this is a limited edition, they're all painted black and gold. Tyrannosaurus has the metallic gold on his thighs. So he does have the die-cast metallic gold metal here, which is pretty nice. In terms of articulation, his jaws can open. And when you open it, it reveals kind of like two circle gold detail. I guess these are probably his blasters. You can lift them, you can open his jaw all the way up to this level. You can also lift his head all the way up, but then it'll be kind of weird because it shows these two circles underneath his kind of neck area. So that's the extent of the head movement. You can't turn it right or left. You can't rotate it. You can only move it up and down. You can open his jaw. He does have really nice red eye detail, which is something that I really like. Some gold chest plate detail as well. I believe these are stickers, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not too sure if it's melted in, but I'm pretty sure these are stickers. And then this is kind of like chrome gold. It's not the metallic die-cast metal gold, it's just a chrome gold. Articulation wise, you can only move it up and down. You can't turn the claws, you can't do anything with it. This is the extent of the movement. And then you have some red detail in its crotch area and some kind of gold shape detail on its tail. In terms of his knees, you can only move it backwards, like so. If you move it to the front, it'll get stuck here because of this kind of knob here. So this knob is actually really important. You'll be using this knob for the tank mode and the Megazord mode for the combining the legs for saber-toothed tiger and Triceratops. So it's very important. That's why the knees only go up to here. You can't really move it. In terms of the thighs, however, you can move it all the way here. So kind of like 2 notches. In terms of the feet, you can move it up and down, and again, no rotation movement. So a lot of movement is just up and down. You can't really rotate it right or left. In terms of the tail, you can lift it up, but usually you only detach the tail for the transformation, for the combination. But you can lift it all the way up here if you want, but it just looks weird, so I just leave it down like so. And then at the back, you have some chrome gold vent detail and the 2 kind of grooves for the combination for the Megazord and the tank mode. Mastodon actually pegs into the two pegs here, the 2 holes here. And that's pretty much it. So that's Red Ranger's Tyrannosaurus. So pretty neat Zord, and it looks very similar to what it looks like in the show, other than the color scheme, obviously. And then next is Black Ranger's Mastodon. One thing I noticed was I thought you can move his trunk, but you can't really move it, and it's not a soft plastic. It's kind of like a semi-soft hard plastic. His tusk, however, it's kind of like a rubbery plastic. His tusk is in a chrome gold, not a metallic die-cast gold. However, Mastodon does have a metallic die-cast part. It'll show more in the Megazord mode, but it's basically this part right here. It's attached along this part. So when I form the Megazord mode, you guys will see this more clearly. In terms of detail, paint detail, again, black and gold color, you have some kind of like a molded gold detail here on the side, which will act as the Megazord's shoulders, as you know. Red eyes. All of these figures have red eyes, which is a pretty nice feature. You have some leg detail, obviously. And all the legs, the 2 front legs are stationary, you can't move them. The back leg, you can move it up and down. Again, you can't rotate it left or right. There's no head movement. You cannot rotate it whatsoever. You cannot move it up and down. You can move the legs like so if you really wish to, but it kind of just looks weird. And that's pretty much it. So that's Mastodon. And then Triceratops. This is basically Blue Ranger's Zord. So again, the 2 horns here, it's kind of like a semi-soft chrome gold plastic. Die-cast metal is on its tail part. This is a really nice die-cast gold metal part. Other than that, the There's some gold kind of detailing at the side. You can see some tank tracks at the bottom. There are no wheels on this one. So I remember the toy, the really old version, the original version, the release that that the toy was released in. There are wheels at the bottom here for you to roll Triceratops, but this one does not have it. It's just a plastic piece at the bottom. So you can roll it, but there's no wheels. Other than that, that's kind of like a minor complaint I have. But other than that, I actually really like this, and especially the die-cast metal part. So that's Triceratops, Saber-toothed Tiger, Yellow Ranger's Zord. Again, die-cast metal at the back, a thinner tail compared to Triceratops. Movement, you can move his front legs up and down. His teeth, you can also move it up and down. Head movement, you can move it up and down. Oh, same with Triceratops, I should have showed you guys. You can move it up and down as well. And then obviously, if you lock it in this way, it forms the legs for the Megazord. So same for Saber-toothed Tiger. Hind legs, you can move it inwards. And again, you can't move it right or left. So just remember, none of these figures can kind of rotate the other way. You can move it generally up and down. Now lastly, Pink Ranger's Pterodactyl. So the wings, you can flap it up, flap it down. You can move it all the way in. That's for the combination mode, but you can flap it up, flap it down. Head, you can flap it, you can move it in, move it out. That's pretty much it. You can rotate it. You can't really see a lot of detail on this side, but when you flip it over, that basically forms the chest plate for the Megazord, and then you have some Megazord detail on the abdomen area and the chest area. That's pretty much it. And that's it. That's it for Pterodactyl. There's some gold parts on the nose and on the side of the head, but that's pretty much it. So this is pretty much the detailing and the articulation of the Zord, Zords by itself. There's not a lot of articulation, to be very honest with all of you, which is actually quite similar to the original toy. The original toy, I remember, there wasn't a lot of articulation, but the combination of them is really fun to do. So without further ado, let's get into the combination and see how good of a combining mode and the playability of this figure is. So we'll start off by combining the 5 Zords into the tank mode first. So I start with Red Ranger's Tyrannosaurus Rex. So first I flip the arms in, and then I detach the tail, just leave it up here for now, and then close the feet all the way in. I mean, close the legs all the way in, and then close the feet like so. Do the same thing on the other side, so that your Tyrannosaurus Rex looks like that. And then you can leave it here for now. Next, you can take Mastodon, detach the head. So once you pull the head apart, you'll notice there's 2 plastic pegs that pegs into each of the peg holes here. Just detach it, leave it on the side. What you can do now is you can actually lift the legs all the way to the back, like so. This part will kind of pop up, but you can just push it back down a bit if you want. You can actually pop it up a bit, like so, until it has the first click, and then flip the other leg out as well, like so. And then now what you can do is you can actually open the whole canopy part here into kind of like a back assembly part. So these 2 pegs here basically pegs into the back of Tyrannosaurus Rex. So you can go ahead and peg it in until it clicks, and then this peg on the side here pegs into the hole here. So it's a very unique combination for this toy. And then you might as well flip the back handle piece of the Mastodon head. This actually forms the shield in Megazord mode, but in tank mode it actually gets attached onto the hole here in Tyrannosaurus. So just peg it in, leave it in like so, flip the arms out, and just make sure you angle it. Oops, I can't flip everybody down, but I want to make sure you guys can see this. So you have the first two Zords combined in this tank mode already. Now you might notice that Mastodon's feet is sticking out and there's a hole here. So this hole is actually used to peg these cannons in. So there's kind of like a cross kind of plastic piece here. You just basically peg it into the hole here, and it forms the tank cannons, which is pretty neat. Now next, what you want to do is you kind of want to angle the whole assembly kind of inwards. So you can kind of do that by a few ways. You can basically lift the feet up a bit and do it this way. And then what you can do now is, if you take Triceratops, you can flip the back tail piece all the way in and just snap it into place. For Saber-toothed Tiger, it's a bit more work, but all you need to do is close the hind legs in, flip the back tail piece in, and then line the front legs out so that it's basically sitting on the ground like so. And then these two form the front of the tank. So I believe Triceratops should be on the right side. Yes. So you can go ahead, there's a hole at the back here, and it pegs basically onto the knees here. The part that I showed you when I was reviewing Tyrannosaurus. So actually, sorry about it, you can actually close the knees up. You don't actually need to angle it. Just peg them in, close the tail up, like so. So you have the tank almost done. The only thing that's missing is this guy. So this is the most tricky part of the whole tank combination in my opinion. So if you actually look closely at Pterodactyl, in this gap here, you can see my finger going through at the space at the back. There's actually a plastic piece that's sticking out here. So what you need to do is you need to groove it behind Mastodon's front legs, between the gaps inside his front legs. So you just kind of have to wedge it in until it clicks, like so. And then what you can do is put Pterodactyl's head down. Now this might seem weird, but in the instruction it actually tells you to angle the tank inwards. So you can kind of lift the arms out like so first, lift the head out, lift Mastodon's head out, and then kind of just push the whole figure in like so. So you do have to angle the legs of Tyrannosaurus. So I didn't make a mistake, I thought I did, but you do have to angle it up. And this is pretty much the tank mode for the 5 Zord combiner. So very, very nice tank mode. A very strong resemblance of what it looks like in the actual show. Absolutely easy and fun to combine the 5 Zords together into this mode. And absolutely stunning piece for any collector out there. You can see more of the die-cast metal now. You can see the die-cast metal on here, on the side, and you can see more of it on Mastodon now. But other than that, all the color scheme, in terms of articulation, there's not a lot of articulation. Again, there's no wheels on these two guys, so you can't really roll it. You can move the cannons up and down. That's basically the same articulation in Megazord mode, because these are going to form his hands. And that's pretty much it. Not a huge lot of change in articulation, but definitely really nice piece when I just look at this toy as a whole. Now to transform, it's going to be a transformation now, not a combination. I guess semi-transformation is having a combination. So to change this guy into a Megazord mode, so what you want to do is detach Pterodactyl at the back. Very easy to detach. You can go ahead and actually close the head in, and it will stay in here very nicely. Flap the wings in. This will basically form a chest piece. You'll see two kind of plastic pegs here that will peg onto the shoulder area, which I'll show you later on, but just leave this on the side for now. Go ahead and unpeg the cannons. So if you go to the back of Mastodon's front legs, you see there's 2 holes, and how convenient. You can actually store these onto the 2 holes. But now you gotta peg the other side into the 2 holes. So instead of the back cross, you peg the kind of like the front cross now and put it into the back. Now you can go ahead and unpeg the Mastodon head. This is going to form a shield. You can keep the handle out. Now you can go ahead and rotate this piece all the way in, and it will show his fist. So do the same thing on the other side. You can go ahead and lift the shoulders out. And then you can go ahead and swing the whole leg piece down. Oh, you might as well snap this back in to make his leg straight. So snap that in first, rotate it all the way down. You can lift saber-toothed tiger's front legs all the way up until it clicks, and then lift the head up. Triceratops, just lift the head up like so. You have his legs done. So the sword is actually pretty large, so I might have to zoom out for you guys to see the whole thing and move this guy back. Now flip the whole arm piece down. So now you're almost done. Your last piece is just to basically open this whole chest piece out. There is kind of like just kind of push it outwards, and then this whole part will pop out. Move the whole Tyrannosaurus head downwards, and then you'll see the Megazord head right there. Move it so that it's facing inwards into the chest area. Make sure it's tucked in there very tightly, very comfortably. Close the chest piece in. And now you can go ahead and close the pterodactyl combiner chest plate in, and you'll see 2 holes on each side which pegs these 2 plastic pieces in. And once it's in, you can go ahead, flip the 2 horns out for the head until it clicks. And there you have Legacy Megazord in its Megazord mode. I have to say, this toy is extremely similar to the one I loved as a kid. It's not that different. The playability is almost the same. I would say actually 99% the same, except they make some few changes into the combiner ports. But other than that, it's very, very similar. I absolutely love this figure. The look is absolutely stunning. I do wish I had the original colored version. Unfortunately, I didn't get it when it was reissued, so I only got the black and gold version, which is a limited color edition. But the 2 figures are basically exactly the same. It's just a color scheme that's different. But this is actually a very, very nice figure. Now, obviously, his fist, you can carry the shield. Just peg it in, and then lift his arms up, like so. And then his sword, you can obviously carry it. And there you have the Megazord, completed with his weapons. Now, in terms of articulation, unfortunately, the Megazord head doesn't change. You can't turn it. You can't even move it up and down. It's just stuck there. But it's a very, very nice head. Like, if you zoom in, the details on it is very, very nice. You have some gold horn detail, some gold detail on the side here, and a very, very nice set of eyes. Very menacing looking. A nice silver-plated face mask. That's kind of like the only additional detail in the Megazord mode. Other than that, everything's been gone through in the reviews for the individual swords. And then there's not a lot of articulation. You can kind of move the fist this way when you flip kind of like the Mastodon leg piece out. But then if you flip it two out, it kind of looks weird. You can't rotate the fist. You can't move it up and down, or it's not on a ball joint or anything. Unlike, it's very different from Transformers figures. You'll see more of the die-cast metal part in his Megazord mode, as I told you, for Mastodon. You can rotate this piece 360. One part I didn't show you guys is you can actually detach this piece if you want. So you can actually flip this out if you want. And then you can go ahead and peg it in. There's a hole, and then it just basically pegs in here. So just in case it gets broken out, it's not broken. You can actually unpeg it. What else is there? I think that's pretty much it. And then in terms of his legs, I guess maybe I should remove the sword. In terms of his legs, you can kind of move it out through the knee joint, like so. Oops, I detached it. You can also move it through the thighs, but that's the extent of the movement. You can't move back, you can't move it further, you can only move it one click. And then the rest of the movement you need to rely on the knees, but it's only 2 clicks. No waist movement, and that's pretty much it. So not a lot of rotations or kind of like a movement. Not a lot of playability, but the combination is super fun to do, especially from tank mode to Megazord mode. And this piece, this toy, is absolutely stunning in terms of its looks. So that's pretty much it for this review. If you guys have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave it down in the comments below. I loved this toy when I was a kid. I still love it now when I got this back. So I would definitely recommend this toy to any Power Ranger fan, or to anybody that actually used to own this toy before but never had a chance to kind of get it back or lost it. I highly recommend you guys to get this toy back. It's just so you know, like, there's not a lot of movements or joints for this toy, but just posing it like this already looks very, very nice. So if you guys have any further comments or questions below, leave it down in the comment section below. Hopefully I can post more reviews in the next coming weeks. So hope you guys enjoyed this review, and thanks very much for watching.